Welcome everyone to another session of our Global Employability Expert Series. My name is Mirta Aguirre. I'm the head of employability at Virtual Internships. And today we have a super interesting topic that is going to be very helpful during your virtual internship and in your whole career. And our webinar topic today is Steer Your Success, Harnessing Self-Leadership in the Early Career Stages. And for this very, very useful topic, we have Mirto Sender, our speaker. Mirto's mission is people living a fulfilled and successful work life. With over 18 years of experience as a professional leadership coach, CEO, board member, investor, and software developer, she possesses a 360-degree view on business and personal growth. She's an associate partner with Kleinhardt & Partner, a company focused on new work and organization. Her approach to leadership centers on individual motivation, strength, and talent. So as you can see, we have a very knowledgeable speaker on this very important topic of self-leadership. And what are we going to discuss about in today's session? So boost yourself and your career with the necessary skills for the future of work. How do we do this? Well, one of these essential skills so we can boost ourselves and our career is self-leadership. Successful self-leadership results in more confidence, clear career goals, and the motivation to achieve them. These very important goals. So what are we going to discuss today? Well, we're going to learn what self-leadership is. We're going to identify areas you already rock and areas you can still keep on developing. We're going to use self-leadership to fuel your career. And we're going to also explore how to feel more confident in interviews and other difficult situations. And we're going to let Mirto just surprise us. So thank you very much for being here today and welcome, Mirto. Thanks for being with us.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Self-Leadership. And today I'm just sharing my screen. Just one second. So here we go. Welcome to Timeless Self-Leadership for Virtual Internships for a career start and also for uni. And what we're going to do today or look at today is first, I want to briefly get your expectations on what you're looking for in this session. Then we're going to dive into self-leadership. This is something, where do you rock? Where do you want to grow? This will be a hands-on session. So I will ask you questions and you will reflect also on and find your answers. Then how can we actually use self-leadership to fuel our career? Each person has their own career. There's no blueprint for a career. So, and there's no two same peas in a pot. So really the goal today is also to give you a bit of foundation of what is important for yourself and also so that you can build the career that you want to have. Then feeling confident in all situations. And then I would like to get to know from you your key learnings. And then we have some Q&A in the end. So let's start. I already mentioned it before. I'm going to try this out. Let's see if it works. As a starter, I don't know if you know Menti. Please scan briefly the QR code, and then you can enter the number, like what your expectations are from today.
So we go to menti.com or we scan that, right?
Yeah, you can scan it or you can go to menti.com and enter the code 21750362.
Okay.
So learning to be more confident and what is self-leadership is coming up. Unfortunately, we don't see the the live responses here. I will add them later on. But keep on adding them, and I will come back to this a bit later and fill them all in. So let's dive in. Okay, while we wait for the responses, I can also tell you a bit about myself and self-leadership, how I came about this topic and where I come from. So as Mirta said before, I'm originally a computer scientist. I studied comp science at ETH in Zurich, and after 2 years, I could choose a minor. And my minor was sports. I studied professional sports coaching from Swiss Olympic. And what I realized is that in sports coaching is not only about like teaching the athletes about what they need, like about the sports itself, like the techniques and endurance and strength training and all of these things, but a lot of a major factor in professional sports training is how well you actually lead yourself, because you need an extreme discipline. You need to do many things that you might not like doing, and also you don't have the freedom to do whatever you want whenever you want, because there are certain days where you have to be at your peak performance, and there are certain days where you really have to relax after like a very strenuous, after you run a marathon, you take a break. You don't go on practice the next day. Things like this, where really it is important that for yourself, you know how to regulate and also what needs to be done, and also keep up your own intrinsic motivation to actually get where you want to go. And this is something that when I studied, it's been a while, sports coaches actually went into the businesses and told the managers about leadership and how to manage teams and how to work with people. And from team sports, it's very important, for example, that you do know your own strengths and weaknesses, but also that you know the ones from your team. And together you communicate on this topic, so you know whom to give a helping hand, or also whom to assign which task when you're a leader. So this is how I came about this topic. And for myself, I've always been well, a medium disciplined person, I have to admit, but when I'm interested in something, I can really focus on it and go full in. And when I'm not so much motivated, I need to find an external motivation, like to bring myself to do it, and to find the ways why it helps me in my area that I really like doing. So let's briefly hop back where the more answers came in. Oh yeah, so we have self-control, develop new skills, knowledge of new skills, self-leadership, knowledge, what is self-leadership, insight, awareness of the skill, and set goals. Awesome, cool. So why do we, let's dive into self-leadership. So why do we call it timeless leadership, self-leadership? Timeless because self-leadership is not something that is new. It is now. Also from McKinsey, it's one of the top 10 skills to have for the work of the future. But humans have always been self-leading, because you had to, in no matter which time from the Stone Age to like today, humans always had to build up their own motivation and to accomplish things. So this is why we call it timeless self-leadership. It's not something new. It just has gotten the focus of the workforce now. So now, what is self-leadership? And we're going to dive into all of these topics as well a bit later. We have the self-leadership itself, which is the ability to influence your thoughts and actions so that you actually reach your goals. To do that, you first need to know, you have to understand yourself, like what are your values, what are your needs. Then also, this is something that sometimes is a bit tougher for some people, and also it requires a bit of honesty with oneself, is self-acceptance. Each person has their strengths and their weaknesses, and these ones, the sooner we actually embrace as a whole who we are, then the easier it actually gets, because we then also know our own limitations. Then self-management. Self-management is the responsibility for yourself, but this is not only like time management, not at all. It's also to be responsible for your own well-being and your own motivation. And we humans, we are striving towards something. We actually want to grow, we want to expand in different areas. For each person, this is different. And this is also how do we develop new skills, and also our own behavior? How do we create new actions and reactions to certain situations? So let's start. And now it's the point where probably your brains also start working. This is usual in this workshop. It's self-discovery. I said before, it's about knowing ourselves. We have values and we have beliefs, and these are not necessarily our own. You're now at university, you're now starting off in your career, so you're at I don't know exactly how old you are, but I expect you're in your early 20s. So that means that you grew up in a home, and there you have values and beliefs that your parents and other people around you gave you. You went to school, you have your peer groups. These also share common values and beliefs. And then even at university and so on. So, and this is something that I found out the age early 20s very good to look at these things, is actually which ones of these beliefs are actually mine and which ones are coming from someone else. And why do I have a belief that I have? And also people change. Maybe as a child you were very shy, but as an adult you are not anymore. But yourself, you see yourself as this small little shy child, and when you talk to people, they are a bit surprised about that you think that you're shy, because you're not anymore. And so take a quick minute to like think about what are your own core values and beliefs. And this is then for later, because this needs a bit more time, unfortunately, than we have today. Which ones of these ones are still valid?
I think this is really interesting and important, right? Because so many times we have values and beliefs that we hold as like super important for ourselves, but sometimes we go and say, maybe this is not something I'm so aligned with, right? But this is more like my culture, perhaps my family, my context, right? I don't know,
Exactly.
you come from Switzerland, I'm from Argentina. Probably we have different beliefs because of our countries and cultures too.
True. Yeah, very well point. Absolutely. There are values and beliefs that we grow up with, that we have unconsciously also, that we hold. And also it has to do with the term is emancipation, to like create your own rules and your own system of what is good and what is bad. So to which values do you hold yourself accountable? And as Mirta said, this is something that really is instilled in us from the culture, from the family, and so on. And also it sometimes needs also quite a bit of energy to like have your own standards and values. But once you have them, you feel much better because it's actually aligned with yourself. And then the second part that we look at in self-discovery for today is actually what gives or takes energy from you. And here we have different things that play into energy. What we have is we have the surroundings that we choose, for example, whom we spend time with, also what we do we what kind of activity do we choose, and so on. How this is something that we actually choose ourselves. And then we have on the energy side also things that we don't have any influence on, because, like, for example, now in the northern hemisphere the equinox has just passed, so it's actually more dark than light. In Switzerland we have light in summer until 10 o'clock, and in winter it's until 4. So, and at the moment it's until about 6. So this is something that is a huge difference between June and now, where the light is not on that long anymore. And for example, for me personally, I need to look at my energy with the light. And there are also other things that influence your energy. This could be also when you have allergies to things, for example, when pollen are flying, when the weather is in a special way and you get migraines or you have headaches. Also, with people who menstruate, the cycle, the hormonal cycle, which every 4 weeks is like goes through tremendous changes. And then we also have weeks, we, like people who menstruate, have also weeks that they have more energy, less energy. Also, when you have like a full calendar and so on, things that also take and give energy. What also is an issue with energy is meetings, for example, and what you do at work. So if you have work that is very cumbersome to do and needs you a lot of energy to start, then don't do this right before lunch when you're hungry, because your energy will be already low, and then you actually need way more energy to overcome it than when you do it at a time of day when you have a lot of energy. So this is also something you can look out for in energy, when during the day you have peak energy and when do you have low energy. Also with energy, it's as I mentioned before, the meetings, of course you can also use this to your advantage. For example, if you need a meeting with a quick decision and it has to be made, so you actually don't book it when people have long time afterwards, but like before lunch or before the evening when they want to go home. So actually they have something more pressing in mind and they really want to get the decision and then leave. This is a little tweak for you to use in the career, to just get like meetings, faster decisions on meetings.
I think the energy point is super important, because sometimes when we organize our everyday workload, for instance, we take a look at timetables and we organize and said, okay, I'm going to put this activity here and there. But taking care of our energy, and when we perform better or we know we are very tired, like just you mentioned, for many different factors, right? We say, maybe it's not so strategic for me to put such an important activity when I know I feel tired, right? I need more energy to do so. So having this in mind is essential to also be more productive and having more stamina, right, to actually accomplish our goals and our tasks.
Exactly. Yeah. Thank you. Perfect. Yeah. And also during the week, sometimes between Monday and Friday, it really depends on how your body works, on when you have low energy and also high energy. And also, what I want to say is, like, this 5 a.m. club. But if you're a night owl, you're a night owl. You don't, at 5 a.m. maybe you go to bed. So this is something which really is very individual, and one can try things out to like find out what matches you, but don't think that you have to fit into a certain pattern. because else you might do something. This is a belief, like a value and a belief that belongs to someone else, and for them 5 a.m. is perfect to get up, but maybe for you it's 2, but maybe it's not. So it really is the question of what fits you and what fits someone else. Try it out, but always think, reflect on, is this good for me or not? So then self-acceptance. This is the point where we talk about strengths and weaknesses. And here we have 2 levels of strengths and weaknesses. We have actually really strengths where we're pretty good at, but also we have talents. And I will talk about the talents a bit later because they're a bit more difficult to identify. But with the strengths, here we have some that we actually know of ourselves. And then we have some we're not even aware of. And what is a really cool exercise is if you ask 3 friends to tell you something that you're really good at or is a strength of yours, and they don't think that you actually know that. So this is for example, when I did this, someone told me, well, you actually move problems out of the way before others even perceive them, which makes me a really good, like, I'm also a project lead and stuff like that. So it really made me good at leading projects. But on the other hand, I sometimes even moved stuff that, like, I thought about stuff that was not needed yet. And so your strengths sometimes also become, in certain situations, they can also become a bit of a weakness of yours. If you try to solve different things, always with the same way, but don't look at the context. So strengths and weaknesses are always to be seen in a context. Where is a strength? What is the session, like the situation around it? And that way you can really differentiate also, when do I use a strength and when do I tone it down a bit, or where actually, this is also very important in a career. Like when you're outspoken, like me, then I had to learn to sometimes stay quiet. So this is something that, yeah, often it is a strength, but in some situations, use a different behavior than your strength to actually become better in what you're doing. So this is and the weaknesses also, there I would not ask other people, what do you think I'm weak at? You can still do that. If you have really good friends and you talk about this stuff, you can still exchange with your friends. What do you think? Where should I become better? And so on. And with the shortcomings, these are things that you know you're not really good at and you don't like doing. So, for example, maybe you have a weakness in something, but you still like doing it. Maybe, I don't know, you like running, but you're not really good at running. So it doesn't matter because it's for fun. It's for, you're not a professional runner, so you don't have to, have to achieve a goal there. You can just do running because you like doing it. So, but with the shortcomings, and this is especially also important for the career, is where are you good at and where really aren't you good at? And this is something that I learned as in my coaching degree with sports, is as a head coach of a team, you're not the only coach. Like in soccer, you have also a goalie coach, you have a coach for strength, you have a coach for endurance, you have a coach for the forwards, for the middle field, and so on, for the defense. You have like coaches for all different kind of things. You have coaches for your nutrition. You have, yeah. So it's really to put together your staff as a head coach on that helps you, like covering all the areas. The important thing is you need to know which areas need to be covered, and then you can actually see what can I cover and what do I want to cover, and then also what should other people be covering, and then really look for these people. So in the career, in the beginning, you won't probably be in a position where you have like 10 people at your disposal. But if you're clear about, if you have a role, you can ask also about how much of the things, you don't have to tell them, look, I'm not good at X. But you can also ask of how much of X you will have to do in this role, so you also can know whether this actually fits you or not. And this you can also find out before start working there. When you're at a job interview, you can ask about what the role entails, and there also if there are lots of things that you're actually not really good at and you're not interested in learning. This is also something, when you're interested in learning in something that is a shortcoming of yours, go for it. Try it out. Give it a go. If you like it and you can improve, and maybe you will really get good at. But if you really don't like doing it and you're not good at it, then it will also show, because like the people will see, oh, you don't like doing it, and yeah, it's perceptive. So, and then the talents is actually way more important. I spoke probably way too long about the shortcomings. The talents are things that for you come perfectly natural. You didn't even realize that you have them. And how do you recognize your talents? It's in two ways. A, other people always ask you to do things or ask you for a certain thing to do. For example, whatever, planning or writing, like at uni, the summaries and stuff, because maybe you really have a knack of taking complex information and structuring it in a very good form and in a very understandable form and breaking it down into understandable pieces. So maybe you don't realize that this is your talent, but other people might really be struggling with taking notes, for example, and then like how to break down the information they get into pieces that they can digest. So this with the talents, also there's a strength finder from Gallup, which you can use to find your strengths and your talents. This I did this, and I think it's a really good tool from Gallup. I didn't put it on the slides. And also ask others, what do you think I'm really good at and I don't think I am? This is also something for the talents. And when you don't, also one thing is that when you really have a talent in something, you actually think everybody else is doing it that way as well. And you're surprised that other people don't do something in a certain way. And then this also points to a talent of yours, which you just haven't realized, that this isn't actually just something that everyone can do. So we go over to self-management. I hope you're all still with me. And I don't know, does anyone would like to share something that they noted down so far?
Or maybe someone wants to share if they realized or discovered a talent during the internship, or some realization of, oh, actually, I think I'm really good at doing this, right? Has happened to any of you that said, I think I may be far better than I thought, right? Because as you said, Mirto, sometimes we're not aware of that, and maybe our supervisor or our colleague said, hey, can you give me a hand with X because you're really good at it, right? Maybe someone, or you can use the chat to share if you realized in which way you're awesome and great, and you said, hey, I'm very talented at this.
Yeah, also if it is recorded, so yeah.
Yes.
No, awesome. So looking forward. And so with self-management, as humans, we have 5 things that motivate us. This is also something that is very important also for animals as well, have intrinsic motivation, because otherwise they would not survive. So we have usually one of these 5 items that are also several that are important to us. One is autonomy, to be able to do things yourselves. Then mastery, to become really good at something. Then purpose, why are we doing something? progress to always get better, and social interaction. That we actually do things with other people together. And for example, who is really good at this intrinsic motivation pickup is computer games. Computer games actually keep you in flow. But there's like a plethora of computer games because each person reacts to a bit something different. So, and they really point to this intrinsic motivation. There's some games where you have a lot of social interaction. You have some games where it's more about purpose. Then you have progress. In all games, you make progress. And the progress is always like this, that you just can do it, but you actually don't, like you have to work for it a bit. So it always keeps you in flow. And this is also what we want to get into at work, is to find out on what motivates me. For example, if social interaction is very important to you, you want to look for a team where people work together, where you don't sit all by yourself at your desk all day and people don't actually work together, or the workload is divided onto different people without actually having a need of communication. It's very seldom, luckily, but still it can happen. So they really see when you get in flow, also try to, flow is the state where you're actually doing something and you forget about time and you just doing what you're doing. You don't think about anything else. You're just in the moment doing what you're doing. So then processes, habits, and rituals. These are important ways to be able to start things when your energy are low. For example, when after lunch you don't have that much energy, maybe because sometimes food is heavy, then also you can have a small ritual before you start work, like get something to drink and then sit down and then start. So actually your body knows, okay, now it's going to be work time. Also, I mean, this also all applies also to studying, of course. And like this, your mind doesn't have to take a decision as well, because it's already there. So you go get the drink, your mind is already preparing for the work that is coming, and then actually you start your work. We also have habits. Some are good ones, and these ones are the ones that you want to keep. But also we have habits which might not be so awesome, like doom scrolling, for example. That's a habit that many people fall into, and personally, I also sometimes doom scroll. It happens, and then it's something that, for me, it was something I really wanted to break out of, and said, well, okay, I also uninstalled some apps from my phone, so I just don't have the opportunity to do that, for example. But when you have habits, also use them in a good way. For example, some people need a morning routine or an evening routine before going to bed. This is something that is very personal. You can build one if you try it out every morning, do exactly the same things, and then you also don't need to waste any energy on like getting ready, but you know exactly what you're going to do. Also, things that you start new. For example, oftentimes people want to work out a certain number of times per week, and then they actually need to but they have to break. It's new, so you have to break what you're doing and actually go to whatever you want to do. So you're exercising, and then when you do an if-then plan, this actually helps you a lot. So you could say what I did, like my if-then plan was at Mondays at 5, I finish what I'm doing and I'm walking out of the office and go to sports. So this was my if-then plan. And what it does, it takes away your mental load. So you don't have to think about, oh, when do I go to sports? Oh, do I go now or do I go in an hour? And then 2 hours later, oh, I still haven't gone to sports. So this is really something that is helping you to reduce your mental load and also the decision fatigue, because you don't have to make a decision in this point. You have, it's 5, I finish my things, I go to sports. So this is decision fatigue. I threw this in now. This has to do with energy, that when we have low energy and it's harder for us to make decisions, and decisions also take energy from us. So when you're in a job where you have to make many decisions throughout the day, then also this is very important to look at your energy level, on how high it is, so you don't fall into the trap of deciding on the easiest solution when you're low energy, then deciding on the right solution. So with self-management, we now had like the motivation, we had the process and habits, but also what is really important there is relaxation and playing. So we actually need to relax. And this is a huge thing with self-management. What relaxes you? This is something that you need to find out. And very often people like going on vacation with someone else. This often is a huge test for relaxation types. So one person would like to lie down all the time at the beach. The other one would like go hiking every day. So this is something that needs a bit of discussion. Also, look what you like, where you relax best. And it might not be for, like, as I said, like some people relax hiking, others like gardening, others reading a book, some play chess, whatever, some run marathons, whatever really relaxes you is the right thing for you. And also play, I already mentioned it before with the weaknesses. We have the playing part where we just do something for the sake of doing it. When we were children, playing was also very much, it has also to do with learning. We also learn skills while we play, but also sometimes work for me feels like playing. And this is the work I like doing best. And then I'm really happy when I can actually do that. But it's still, it's work. And I really have to segregate between, okay, now this is work. And now I'm just doing things for fun, for no outcome, because I just like doing it. So I'm pushing on a bit here because we have quite a few things still to cover. Next topic is self-growth. So self-growth is setting your own goals. And this is very important. Some of us are fortunate to, as a child, having been in a house where we could choose our own goals. We could become whatever we wanted to. And we had a very supportive household that really helped us, a family that helped us, and so on. But I also have I'm a woman in computer science. I also have friends where they became a computer scientist, but the whole family was like, yeah, that's not for girls, it's computing. And they had like to overcome all these hurdles, which I luckily didn't have to. So this is something that we never know where someone comes from. And also set your goals so they align with you and not with someone else. This is very important also to feel congruent with yourself. And if you chase after goals from other people, also this can really lead to mental problems and also to depression, because you will never be good enough, because it's not congruent with your own values. And so it actually really is not healthy to do that. Then career plans. It's always good to have career plans to look up to people. Just so whom do you want to become? Who inspires you also? And then the trick is to not trying to become like them, but actually to see what they did and what got them where they are. So to actually look a bit behind the scenes, to see what kind of work is behind it, where they come from. Many people who own companies, and they were born rich and they inherited a lot of money. So they might have completely different starting point than I have, for example. So I can envy them and say, oh, well, yeah. Or I can just say, well, yeah, this is okay. They had these resources and they went up and built a company, and I have my resources and I built up my company, but I'm not measuring against them because my company is my company and their company is their company. So this is really important, that also that you measure yourselves against yourselves, not with other people, because you never know where they come from, what they experienced in their lives, good and bad. And also they have different strengths and talents and interests. They're not you. So you will not have the same paths exactly. And you don't have to have the same paths exactly. So yeah, we're already at how this actually works for you, for your career. Important is when you align with your self-leadership things, and this is something that now maybe you followed along, this is something that it's not once that you do that, because also what fits you today didn't fit you when you were 10 years younger and might not fit you when you're 10 years older. So it really is important that you check on this from time to time, maybe half a year or yearly, that you see, am I still aligned? Is my path that I am on still the one that I want to go? Does it still match? And then also choose your career accordingly. And when you have a path that really matches you, then you're really motivated and driven to go through with this. Also, you can actually look dedicated for jobs and companies that align with your values, because when you know them, and for example, that you're very concerned about the animals that are dying in the sea, then and you find a job that has the same purpose, it's very fulfilling because you can do something that aligns with your personal purpose. Yeah, we at Planet Department, we don't talk about work-life balance, because work is part of life. Also, work is not something bad. Work is something good. It can be fun. It is fun very often. And so we actually really have like a fulfilling life, because at work we can do something that we like, and also in our free time as well. Then what you also can do is you can really check out for jobs that align with your strengths. So you bring your strengths to work. And by knowing what you can do and what you can't do and what you want to try or learn, you can also start setting healthy boundaries. This is very important when you get tasks assigned you don't like doing or you're not good at. You can start suggesting, for example, someone else who does it very well, like, can't this person do it? Like, I don't have capacity right now. This is also very good if you don't have time to do more in your career. You can say, I don't have the capacity right now. Can we look at the priorities, please, and rearrange things? So this demonstrates you don't say, no, I don't want to do it, but it says, look, I'm actually concerned about what else about our company, what we need to do, and I would like to realign my priorities with yours. So I'm working on the right things for the company. Also, I said it before, sense of purpose, meaning when you can align your own purpose with the one of the company, then this really makes you happy and fulfilled. And this also then goes over into your private life, and going to work doesn't feel actually like going to work, because you work on something that is very important to you. So then I have a small promise to fulfill still. This is feeling confident in all situations. So here, I don't know if you recognize her. It's Wonder Woman. And here we work with our bodies. If you're sitting, then I would like, you can, this is something that we do with our bodies. So you can either stand up or you can stay seated. What we do is we bring our body into a position where actually stress isn't felt by the body. And this is something that is very helpful, especially when you do, this is not something that you do just like once and then it's gone. It's a small ritual that you can use in private, or also when you are waiting for the bus or so, because people won't really notice that you do it. So what we do is we strike a so-called power pose. I don't know, maybe you've heard of it already, but what it actually does, so let us go into power pose and then I continue talking while you stand in power pose, because so you stand up or you stay seated, you pull your tailbone down, and what it does, it actually lifts, maybe you can see it here on my hand, like when I don't do this, my chest opens and it goes up, and I put my arms on the side and I have my hips, my legs are relaxed, but like this, and I look up, not to the back, but just like straight ahead. And what that does is actually, in this position, the body can't feel stress. You can also do this while sitting. So, for example, when you're in an interview or so, in a stressful situation, you don't put your arms like on the side, you just put them on the table in front of you, and then you have like this open position. Hey, so what happens in our body? Because something that happens in our body has to do with the hormones. Your testosterone is increased. 2 minutes of this actually gives you a significant amount of more testosterone. Why is testosterone good? It's actually the dominance hormone. It's also, you look very present, you are here, you have like, you show strength, but at the same time, it actually decreases cortisol, which means you're strong, but you're relaxed, you're in control. And the decrease of the cortisol, this is also very useful in this pose. For example, when you feel stressed, then you can just stand like this and your cortisol will go down naturally. So here the thing is also, try it out, do it, find a pose that there are different poses around, also Google for them, what you like best. But this really helps you to relax in very stressful situations. You can do this, build this in your morning routine. In winter, I have this in my morning routine because, as I said, the missing light does get to me. So I have this in my morning routine. Also before a job interview, for example, or just whenever, also on the job. For example, you have a really difficult meeting and you have to present something in front of like very lots of people. Then when you do this before, you can do this also in a bathroom stall. You can just lock yourself in for 5 minutes and just stand there. Nobody knows what you do. So then you go in, have a presence, you're confident, and your presentation will be much better. So this is my small promise that I had. Also with this pose, you instill more trust into people. And yeah, that's actually already the end. So if you have any questions, I have also the key takeaways, which I would like you to fill in a second, because I have to
that's a great what you just shared, and I know there was the link. We're gonna be sharing, guys, the presentation with you, so you have all this amazing content that Mirto prepared for you. And really, I saw you included there the link to this very interesting TED Talk about power posing. That's an excellent tip. Power posing is super interesting and super helpful to help you guys really reduce stress, as Mirto just told us. That's a great TED Talk you can find later on. So, our takeaways.
Yeah.
So one thing I'm taking away from this session, and please, guys, if you can share something, even on the chat, what is one key idea you're taking away from this session? One key thing I'm taking away that resonated a lot with me was the energy part of the equation, like really gaining awareness of where my energy is, so I can be more aligned in my work. So if you want to share, guys, with us one key takeaway from this talk, that would be great. And meanwhile, we're also going to share our survey. So please, you can complete the survey so we can know what you thought about our talk. And Mirto, how can we stay in contact with you?
Yeah,
maybe we can find you on LinkedIn, right?
Yes, you can find me on LinkedIn, and yeah, it's Mirto.
Yes,
Sender.
we are sharing it in the chat, so everyone can connect with you.
Yeah, absolutely. Looking forward to that.
And I want to thank you, because I'm taking many things away from this talk. And let me share your our colleague Damien, he shared your LinkedIn. And as you know, guys, networking is super important. So if you don't have a LinkedIn profile, this is the time you should create one, please. LinkedIn is super useful, so you can stay connected with Mirto, and you can connect with me, and you can connect with all of you. So if you want to share your LinkedIn profiles, this is the moment, so you can add new members. So Mirto, if you have to share with us, like let's say one key idea that I should start considering for my early career stage, right? What a great piece of advice could be for me to start paying attention at, besides rereading the whole presentation you prepared, because it's amazing? What could that be?
Yeah, for the early career, I would say really try things out and say yes to opportunities, also in your later career. But when something is offered to you, give it a try, unless it goes really against your moral and your values and beliefs. Else, try it out. You might like it. Also, the job descriptions, if you fulfill it for 60%, you're already qualified, because this is the description of the person that you're actually replacing and what they did after several years of being in the workforce. So yeah, these are the two things that in a nutshell I would go with.
And that's a great piece of advice, because truth is that many times we think, or most of the time we think, we need to have absolutely all the requirements to apply for a job, but actually we don't. So that's a great piece of advice. Well, thank you very much, Mirto, for being here today with us. It's been a pleasure. I hope everyone has felt the same way I felt, which is I found so much great content here. We're gonna share the slides with you so you can, guys, do also the exercise she shared with us. The self-reflection is super important, so we know where we are standing and where we can grow. So thank you very much, Mirto, for your time and for being here today. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you all for coming by, and it was amazing. Thank you, Mirta, for organizing, and Virtual Internships for this opportunity.
Thank you, guys. Have an excellent day. Thanks for sharing your LinkedIn. Awesome. I see. I'm gonna add everyone. Bye and have an excellent day. Tschüss.
Goodbye. Thank you.